Are we good? Good evening. It's Tuesday, December 6th, 2022, and I want to welcome you to tonight's Columbus, Wisconsin City Council meeting. City Clerk Pat Gable will now take the roll.
Albright.
Present.
Arnold.
Present.
Gray.
Present.
Motive is excused. Reed.
Here.
Roki.
Present.
Steiner.
Here.
So we have a quorum. If you are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight's meeting has been noticed in accordance with state statutes and local ordinances, and I am now looking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Alder Steiner will motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Alder Roki will second.
So it has been moved and seconded that we approve tonight's agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. It looks like we have no one who has signed up to speak tonight. So I'm going to move on to the consent agenda, and I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Alder Gray moves to approve the consent agenda.
Reed will second.
So it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. The next order under new business is to consider and take action on the Highway 73 plat signing authority. It's something that we talked about at our last meeting. It's the regarding the Highway 73 project. They're planning a mill and overlay improvement on State Highway 73 within our municipal limits, and someone from the city will need to sign the plat sheets. And so during previous projects, the city clerk has done that, and we are recommending a similar arrangement for this project. So I am looking for a motion to take action on the Highway 73 plat signing authority. And is it important to mention that we're asking Pat Gable to do that?
If you name Pat Gable individually, she can't retire, so that would
okay.
be
We'll go for that
spectacular
then.
if that
Yes.
could be. Otherwise, the clerk would be whoever is the city clerk. I'd go for the first, but as you wish.
So, okay.
Alder Gray moves to approve the city clerk as the signer for plat sheets related to acquiring the right-of-way for the state highway project of 73.
Alder Albright will second that.
So it has been moved and seconded that we name the city clerk as the signer for the, well, it's been moved and seconded that I'm sorry, I wasn't really listening to your actual motion. I just listened to the important part, so I want to reframe that. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the city clerk to sign, have the authority to sign the plat sheets. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so motion carries. Item number 2 is to consider and take action to suspend the rules for ordinance 777-22, an ordinance to create Article 12 of Chapter 9 of the City of Columbus Code of Ordinances concerning all-terrain vehicles and utility terrain vehicles. So just a reminder, this item, number 2, is to take action to suspend the rules. So that's the first part of what we're looking for here. So I'm looking for a motion to do that.
Alder Albright can make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance 777-22, an ordinance to create Article 12 of the Chapter 9 of the City of Columbus Code concerning all-terrain vehicles and utility terrain vehicles.
Alder Roki will second.
So it has been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules as noted by Alder Albright. Is there any discussion? So all those in favor to suspend the rules, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, then I'm sorry, anyone opposed? Okay, so that motion passes. Now we go on to number 3, which is to consider and take action to waive the readings for ordinance 777-22, and it is the same ordinance mentioned above. So I am looking for a motion to waive the reading.
Alder Rolke will move to waive the readings for ordinance 777-22.
Alder Albright will second it.
So it has been moved and seconded that we waive the readings for ordinance 77-22. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, then we go down to item number 4. Whoops, hang on. Is it 4? Okay. Consider and take action to adopt ordinance 777-22, an ordinance to create Article 12 of Chapter 9 of the City of Columbus Code of Ordinances concerning all-terrain vehicles and utility terrain vehicles. So this time around, I'm looking for a motion to actually adopt the ordinance.
Alder Rolke moves to adopt ordinance 777-22, an ordinance to create Article 12 of Chapter 9 of the City of Columbus Code of ordinances concerning all-terrain vehicles and utility terrain vehicles.
Alder Albright will second.
So it has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 777-22. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So the ordinance passes. Okay, now we're going to move down to number 5, which is to consider and take action to suspend the rules for ordinance 778-22, an ordinance to create a joint municipal court for the Village of Cambria, the Village of Fall River, the City of Columbus, the City of Lodi, the Village of Partyville, the Village of Poynette, the Village of Randolph, the Village of Rio, the Town of Columbus, the Town of Decorah, the Town of Lodi, the Town of Arlington, the Village of Arlington, the Village of Friesland, and the Village of Wyacina. So, kind of the same sort of thing here. The first thing we're looking to do is to suspend the rules. So I'm looking for a motion.
Alder Gray moves to suspend the rules.
Alder Steiner will second.
So it has been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules for ordinance 778-22. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that passes, and now we move on to number 6, which is to consider and take action to waive the readings for ordinance 778-22. So I am looking for a motion to waive the readings for that.
Alder Gray moves to waive the readings for ordinance 778-22.
Alder Steiner will second.
So it has been moved and seconded that we waive the readings for ordinance 778-22. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, moving on to number 7. Consider and take action to adopt ordinance 778-22, an ordinance to create a joint municipal court for all of the villages and cities and townships that I mentioned previously. So I am looking for a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Alder Gray moves to adopt ordinance number 778-22.
Reed will second.
So it has been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 778-22, creating a joint municipal court for all the cities, towns, and villages named. Is there any discussion? So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? So the ordinance passes. And then we move on to number 8, which is to consider and take action to approve the joint municipal court agreement. And this is an intergovernmental agreement. And is there anything you want to add to that, Kyle?
Just essentially, this is how the court itself is governed, the composition of the municipal court committee, the powers and duties, voting procedures, and the budget process. So once we adopted the ordinance, now we enter into this agreement intergovernmentally about how we actually will participate in the governance of the court.
Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay. Then I am looking for a motion to take action on the joint municipal court agreement.
Alder Gray moves to approve the joint municipal court agreement.
Alder Albright will second that.
So it has been moved and seconded that we approve the joint municipal court agreement. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, now we are going on to number 9, which is to consider and take action on the Nutrition Site 2023 Memorandum of Understanding with Columbia County. Oops. I skipped over that one. Well, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Something that we also discussed in our last meeting. So I am looking for a motion to approve the nutrition site.
Alder Albright can make a motion to approve Nutrition Site 2023 MOU with Columbia County.
Alder Rolke will second.
So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the Nutrition Site 2023 Memorandum of Understanding with Columbia County. Is there any discussion? So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Number 10 is to consider and take action on renaming the senior center to the Columbus Community Center. So this was something that we've discussed in the past, and personally, I think it's a great idea. And unless there are any questions, I am looking for a motion to rename the Columbus Senior Center to the Columbus Community Center.
Alder Steiner will make a motion to rename the Columbus Senior Center building to Columbus Community Center.
Alder Gray seconds.
So it has been moved and seconded that we rename the senior center to the Columbus Community Center. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Great. That's happy news. Number 11. Okay, that is to consider and take action on the letter of intent for parcels 11211-1090-C and 11211-1090B. Something that we discussed at our last meeting. And so I'm looking for a motion to approve the letter of intent and authorize me to sign the document.
Alder Gray moves to approve the letter of intent and to authorize the mayor to sign the document for parcels 11211-1090.C and 11211-1090.B.
Alder Albright will second that.
So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the letter of intent and authorize the mayor to sign the document. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the motion passes. And now we are moving on to the claims. So I am looking for a motion to approve the claims in the amount of $130,407.90.
Alder Rolke moves to approve claims in the amount of $130,407.90.
Gray seconds.
So it has been moved and seconded that we approve the claims for November, through November 29th, 2022, in the amount specified. Is there any discussion? Okay, then we'll do a roll call on this.
Gray.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Rolke.
Aye.
Steiner.
Aye.
Albright.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great. So that was almost a record here. It's not even 6:45 yet. So we're moving on to the report of city officers, and the administrator will start off tonight.
All right, thank you. Obviously, as we have snow flying outside, leaf collections are done for the year, and they've done the street sweeping to follow up for that. And another reminder related to that, it's time to review the winter parking rules and maybe sign up for those alerts before we find ourselves kind of buried in snow and with a winter weather advisory or a winter storm warning. So please sign up for the notifications, review our website for the parking restrictions. Property tax bills are completed. They've been processed. You should be receiving those in the mail very soon. If you want a sneak peek, you can go on the county website and look at your property and look at the current tax bill. You should be able to view them right there on the Columbia County Land Information website. You can pay them online. You can pay them in person here at City Hall, at the Farmers and Merchants Union Bank locations in Columbus. You can mail them, drop them off in the City Hall drop box, and any questions, you can call Brandon. He loves to answer questions. You can find him either in his old office in the treasurer's office or down the hall in Matt's old office for the planning and zoning. But the collections have started now, so I will be getting busier with those. But any questions, again, give us a call. And then this Friday, the holiday train is coming. It's been a couple years off with COVID, and we've had just the online version. So it's scheduled to arrive in Columbus around 9:05. The show 9:15 to 9:45. Should be a great opportunity to celebrate. First time back live since 2019. Good cause for the food bank. Time to collect some food, collect some money, and celebrate at the same time. So I think that should be a good cause and a good celebration. And that's all I have.
Okay. Probably most people here know that November 17th was an exciting day in Columbus because the high school football team won the state championship for the first time, I think, in 26 years. Very exciting game. I listened to it on the radio, and it was thrilling. Alder Rolke was actually there. It was freezing, very cold, snowy, snow squalls. And so the following Monday night, she and I presented a proclamation to the high school football team. They had a little ceremony at the elementary school, and that was really nice. Exciting day for Columbus. The following night, on November 22nd, we honored, Administrator Elfson and I honored two firefighters, Craig Dykstra and Randy Keene, for many years of service in the Columbus Fire Department, and that was a very nice ceremony, too. Kyle already mentioned the holiday train, and this is a great opportunity for those of you who want to support the food pantries to donate to them. That's a big part of what happens, as well as all the other really fun things that are going on. And I want to thank everybody who's worked on making that a success. I also want to give an update on the newly formed City Beautification Committee. We ended up having a whole flurry of applicants after our last meeting, and so we will have 6 members selected to come, the names will come before council for approval at our next meeting in December. We do also have an opening on the Tourism Commission. I'm just going to mention that. Longtime member J.D. Milburn, who's been very active on the Tourism Committee as well as in other committees in Columbus, has relocated to Platteville. So if anybody listening is interested in serving on the Tourism Commission, let me know, or go to the mayor's page and fill out the form. The Columbus Recreation Department is accepting applications for 2 ice rink attendants. They'll work only on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And tomorrow is the free craft event at Amy Jo's office, which used to be the community center, but now it is known as the 161 North Dickinson Boulevard. It's called the 161 Building. Is that it? Okay. Kids can come between 5 and 7 and create a Cardinal memory, which is, very nice, given that Cardinals are state champs. And kids can also turn in their letters to Santa. They can put them into a magic mailbox at Amy Jo's office. I guess this is only for kids, though, right? Okay. So that's 161 North Dickinson. Then they receive a specialized letter from Santa himself. And you can get, as always, you can get more information on all these great things on the city rec page. you have to turn in your letters no later than December 14th to expect a reply from Santa, because he gets pretty busy after that. The Columbus Library has a winter reading program. They're calling it Spellbound. Get spellbound by a good book. And this goes from Wednesday, December 21st through Wednesday, February 8th. And it's for all ages. And you can log on by going to the Columbus Public Library website. It's columbuspubliclibrary.beanstack.org. I'm not sure what that means. But anyway, you can sign up or register. And there's also going to be a virtual beginning piano class for adults through the library with Catherine Brick, and that's going to be starting in January. So I'll mention that again at our next meeting. Because it's virtual, they are asking for people to register. And I just want to mention, too, we recently learned one of the city crossing guards was injured when a driver just blew through the school zone, bumped the guard, kept going, and it was clear that the crossing guard was injured. So, for heaven's sakes, people, please slow down. It's 15 miles an hour, and you got to do it for 4 seconds? So it really annoys me when I see people ignoring the signs or the guards with their little stop sign. Let's please be careful when you see that, when you go through the school zones. And that is it for me. Oh, so now I'm looking for a motion. That's right, we have to adjourn before I can turn it over. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Alder Gray moves to adjourn.
Alder Wilkie will second.
So it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.
It was just flowing too well. Given that, how does everyone feel about powering through and then maybe taking a break before closed session?
That's fine.
That works. All right. In that case, I have 6:52 p.m. Today is Tuesday, December 6th. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Columbus Committee of the Whole. And with that, if our clerk, Pat Gable, could take a roll call.
Albright.
Present.
Arnold.
Present?
Gray.
Present.
Motive is excused. Reed.
Here.
Rolke.
Present.
Steiner.
Here.
Thank you very much. And this meeting was properly noticed. So next up on the agenda is to approve the agenda. If I don't have any alterations or discussion, I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Alder Wilkie will second.
I have a motion from Mayor Arnold and a second from Alder Rolke. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next up is citizen comments. Was there anyone wishing to make a comment that wasn't able to sign up? Seeing none, I will move right along. In your packets, you will find the minutes from the CHLPC for multiple meetings from 8/9, 8/18, 10/3, and 10/12. The Senior Center from 11/3, Tourism from 10/3. Were there any questions, comments, concerns? Okay, perfect. Then, next up on the agenda is to discuss the carryover of salaried flex time. Kyle, would you like to?
Sure. So last year, we had done this in a relation to a request from the police department, as well as we addressed this to several other salaried employees. The use of flex hours doesn't have any cash impact. There's no payout for this, but essentially this will allow us to carry over flex hours into 2023 versus having the automatic reset that currently happens on December 31st. The new personnel manual that's still being worked on won't have that reset, and no matter what, there's no payout of this, so it really has no fiscal ramifications to it. So we were requesting that we could consider doing this again into 2023 if the council would approve.
Thank you very much, Kyle. And I would like to clarify that it will still be capped at 40 hours, so it's not like they're going to be able to get 80 hours all of a sudden just because it's carrying over. It still will remain capped at 40. So anybody, any questions, comments, concerns? What is the will of the council? Would you like to allow the flex hours to carry over Alder Reed?
Oh, thank you. I would like to allow the flex hours to carry over. I mean, the main problem was due to shortage of personnel that individuals were unable to use their flex hours. I really just think it would be good for morale and retention to allow the extension.
Thank you very much, Alder Reed. I agree completely. I don't see a reason for them to reset ever, personally. Any other, is that everyone's okay moving this forward to their next? Okay, perfect, thank you. Then next up on here is item number 7, discuss the changes to the utility superintendent title recommended by the Utility Commission. So the Utility Commission is recommending us to change the title from superintendent to director. Did you want to go in any more detail?
Sure. So WPPI has been helping us at the Utility Commission with some consultants to help us understand the recruitment and kind of serve as professional consultants. And the title of utility superintendent is sort of more old school, I guess, and means different things to different people. And in more of a modern sense, might mean a lower level position than what we've been more traditionally used to. Utilities director matches more of our other departments, where the director is your top level within the department, and across the state might entice more people to apply for it so that they would understand that it is the head of the department and not someone in the middle, maybe supervising field crews or something like that. So this came as a recommendation from the Utility Commission. The reason it's coming here is because the title is in ordinance. In order to accomplish this, we'll have to make a couple ordinance changes to correct the title from superintendent to the utility director. Other than that, the commission is also looking at compensation, but they'll be able to handle that on their own in their effort to recruit a director.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Does everyone understand we're just looking to change the title?
I have a quick question.
Oh, go ahead.
Yep, so superintendent, so you're saying, is that a higher title or a lower title?
Superintendent is stigmatized as a lower title.
Oh, okay, so you're looking to change it, so it's more,
It would.
More well-rounded
Yeah,
or
potentially
whatever.
be, like we have a street superintendent who is a mid-level position
Okay.
below the director of public works.
okay.
Yeah, the director just fits the role of the position better. A superintendent is more someone who works directly, and a director is someone who directs, for being lack of better terms. Does everyone understand the difference, and is everyone okay with that change? Okay. So then shortly, we will be, probably our next meeting, be bringing forward ordinances to review, changing that in ordinance from superintendent to director. Then next up is, item number 8 is to discuss the pool rates. Amy Jo or Kane, did you guys want to speak first, or?
Did I? Hey, good evening. So Kane and I kind of did some working together on, I know that council would like to increase the revenue at the pool. Jeez, I'm making a lot of noise, I apologize. So we came up with a couple of different ideas and areas and where we could increase fees versus increasing the membership rates. So, actually, I'll let not Kyle. I'm having a rough night here. I'll let Kane. Man, let's reset. I'll let Kane talk to you about that, okay? If you have any questions, we'll just kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, so if you guys could go to that pool rates increases 2022 page, we kind of broke down last year. We actually did move rates up already for non-resident, resident day passes. They went from $4 to $5, 5 to 6 for the day passes. And then family passes, we did move them up, resident from 200 to 225, and then non-resident from 225 to 245. Same thing with individual and couple. So we did raise prices last year, pretty reflective of a lot of inflation that we saw for a lot of our expenses with, food, chemicals, cleaning supplies, all that. So that's kind of where we went with that. The one thing that we kind of want you guys to understand with the pool passes is some of those passes that were sold at the $200 mark last year or the $225, depending on when they bought them. So we'll increase our revenue because they're all going to be paying that new price of that $225 and $245, if that makes sense for everybody.
We had the early bird special.
Yeah.
That we didn't start until April.
And then the rates were changed. So that'll be, price moves. And then even with our 10 punch pass, we moved from 35 to 45 last year for resident, and then non-resident from 45 to 55. So we did move some rates last year, and it did help with our revenues. Myself personally, that's kind of where we wanted to start, just so, you think about maybe not raising prices every single year and kind of discouraging people from wanting to swim at the pool or kind of outpricing them going. So with that in mind, we did try and come up with some ideas for potential revenue increases. That is, of course, on our page here, potential increases in fees to raise revenues at the CAC. We thought long and hard about the titles here. So what we have, big one, I think we could increase our swim lessons and swim team fees a little bit. They've been frozen at that $40 mark for quite a while, the 40, 50, and 65 mark. We have quite a few kids that come through our swim lesson program. I always average about 100 kids a session, so that's about 300 total for the whole summer. So if we increase it, $5, $10 on each one of those, we can make some extra money, and, we do fill up pretty quick on a lot of those swim lessons. And there is a document that Amy Jo did give you guys just a second ago, and I don't want us to have to keep going back and forth between the documents. But when we were looking at the average price of swim lessons, a lot of them were around that $6 marker for, a day swim lesson fee. And we are obviously a little lower than that, because we're at $4 and $5 technically a day, because our classes are 10 days. So, like I said, I hate to have you guys go back and forth on it, but it is, the document, there's two of them, it looks like this. Sorry about that. It's at the far end, way down there, and it just gives you a rundown of some different communities, whether it's Stoughton, Cambridge, McFarland, and kind of what they charge for swim lessons on like a one-day scale. So we can see there's $7, $9, $10, and then the average came out to be about $6.93 for a resident. And then a non-resident was about $9.14. And for ours, we do 10 days, 50-minute classes. They fill up pretty quick, especially at our 4 to 5 o'clock time. And, they've been kind of stuck at that rate a little bit. And if we consider maybe increasing, wages, an increase in some of that, for swim lessons could help us a little bit on there. So hopefully that makes sense on that end. I don't know if any of you guys have any questions on that real quick.
I actually do. So the list that you gave us with the rates I know DeForest is open year-round.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between a 12-month revenue versus our 5-month?
Yeah, so that's where I wanted to include some of those, just so we could kind of get a gauge on some of them, because some of the rates, they are similar to ours, and then they're also not, because they do allow gym use and stuff like that, and they're 12 months. But, my big thing on here is looking at the daily rates in those swim lesson ones. The swim lesson classes, a lot of places, they offer 30-minute classes, 40-minute classes. Some of them offer an hour. It just kind of depends on the facility. I know that a lot of these, they are really reflective of what we do with the 45-minute classes. So that's where I was kind of getting a gauge on it. Maybe we increase it about $1 a day technically, to kind of get us a little bit more in that ballpark, instead of $40 to maybe like $50, and then it'll be $5 a day for the class. Any other questions on the swim lesson front?
In general, do you know which of these other cities have year-round pools and which don't?
DeForest does. They just built the new one. Verona is kind of a little strange. They have like 3 pools. Oregon's got an indoor lap pool. And then Cambridge is an indoor lap pool. Some of the other ones, they are the outdoor facilities. Middleton, Cross Plains.
That helps. So Stoughton is only outdoor.
Yeah.
McFarland, Middleton, Monona Grove,
Yeah, to my knowledge, yeah.
Wanakee. Okay. And that helps because, like, when I'm looking at the
The bigger,
yeah, the year-long passes,
Yeah.
that kind of, I would assume they should
Yeah.
charge more if they're open all year.
and then like I said, some of them do include a gym membership, but with kind of where we're located, we're kind of in a goofy area because you go north of here, a lot of it's kind of controlled by the YMCA. You know, we have 4 pools that are all kind of under their ownership with, in Beaver Dam, Waupun, you know, Fox Lake, so those numbers can get a little skewed. Any other questions on the swim lessons?
I don't have any questions on the swim lessons. I'm still seeing a pretty large disparity for the annual passes, for what we're charging compared to what everyone else is charging. Like, it's a massive amount different in those areas. The other areas, aside from lessons, I'm not seeing huge differences, fairly minor, we're fairly in line, but the annual passes is a massive amount. Like $100 a year. That's a lot of money.
So I'm looking at the averages on the family year.
The family isn't that off. The
Yeah, the 212 and 281.
Yeah. The individual is still, so if I take out of consideration, and oddly enough, the ones that have year-round pools are actually the less expensive ones. The ones that do not are more expensive. So if I take into consideration the people that are most similar to us, the average would be around $175, and we're at $100. So that's a very large disparity.
Is that just for the individual?
Right.
How much individual year passes or seasonal passes do you get as opposed to family passes?
We don't sell too many.
It's kind of a low.
Yeah, it's not probably more than, I'm gonna say, what did we bring in last year? Maybe 20 or 25 individual ones, and a lot of them are kids that get the membership just for themselves.
Individual kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not too many people that are, you know, adults get them.
Kind of a lower number as opposed to.
Yeah.
Someone getting a family pass. It'd be more of a concern.
And it is kind of helpful to have some of the kids there, you know, instead of running around doing something else on those individual ones.
So then, if we were talking about the individual pass, Ian is right, they're kind of high, and you're suggesting 110. And so maybe raising that to 125 would be all right? And just to give it a little bit more? Or is that not something that you're interested in doing?
It's kind of, you know, either or, because some people that buy the individual pass, you know, they might just buy the 10 punch pass then, or maybe they just decide, hey, we're not going to buy it, we'll just go with daily passes. Obviously, for the pool, you want people to buy the pass before, instead of kind of risking it, just doing the daily passes, because you never know about the weather, and they might just decide not to show up throughout the year, whereas if you take in the memberships, then you at least have that guaranteed revenue. But I mean,
It's worse a piece,
yeah,
a gambling game,
for-
you know, you don't want to go too high too quickly and scare the people off, and
Yeah.
then just doing daily rates.
Right. No, I totally understand that. My other thing that I'm noticing, comparatively speaking, is our resident rates are a lot more in line than our non-resident rates. All these cities all average somewhere between a 30 to 50% or more difference between resident and non-resident, and we are looking at a 20% or less difference in all of our fees. So that's the other area I'm seeing a large disparity between us and everyone else is we're fairly in line with resident rates, but we're pretty out of line with non-resident, and from what I'm looking at. So I think that's probably more of an area to look at for fees and fee increases. Because things like this, I mean, it's no lie that our pool loses money. It costs our taxpayers money. I am okay with that for our residents, but for non-residents to be paying exponentially less than they would anywhere else, and basically getting a subsidy from our taxpayers, I'm not so much okay with.
So what do you recommend for like the family pass non-resident? It's at $245 currently, and residents at $225.
Right. Yeah, I think I would.
We do have,
The exact numbers
A lot of
are difficult. I would probably say it needs to go up at least $15 there. The individual probably needs to go up $25 to $30. The couple, probably another 15. In my, just, I'm throwing numbers off. Alder Reed, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my question was on what kind of passes do the campers get? Because I know there was some concern on making it too expensive for the non-resident campers.
Yeah, so they obviously buy day passes.
and they get a group rate.
Yeah, and, we have two groups that come there throughout the summer. One group comes 3 days a week, the other comes once every week. And they did bring in quite a bit of money, about $10,000 in daily revenue, and then they buy a lot of food. So I don't want to kind of scare them off, and potentially lose like $15,000 off of their business by kind of raising it a little too much. But, we did put the numbers here just to give you guys an idea, and that's kind of where we were leaning a little bit more towards the swim lessons and,
And swim team.
with Alderman Gray, they're talking about the resident versus non-resident. I mean, you can see the non-resident swim lessons is quite higher compared to the resident one in a lot of communities. And that's, maybe something we look at for potential increases in revenue. Because like I said, I think that one thing that we could do is if we raise the daily passes too much, that might scare off some people a little bit more.
Yeah, and I agree. I think our daily passes are pretty well in line. I don't think we need to move those so much. I think mostly looking at, like you said, the swim lessons and looking at some of the mostly non-resident prices for like the 10-day punches and the annual passes and things of that nature is where I would.
So do you
I think most of the rest, in my opinion, is.
consistently increased
That might not be a bad number. That's just,
for non-residents?
right.
Okay.
And I mean, that's just my opinion, that
Sure.
from what I'm looking at, I definitely want everyone.
You gotta consider with family passes, how many passes that gets out of a regular day pass.
Right.
So you want to encourage people to take the family passes and have as much of that as you can come into the facility. If you have it too high, it's like, well, then I'll just get a couple of 10-day passes, because that's how much I'm going to go to the pool. You're losing the revenue from the family pass that gets them all the other amenities and the ability to go there because the cost is too high. So if we're charging $5, well, at an individual pass at $100, that's what, 20 visits? So you do a family pass, 200, I mean, you're getting maybe the equivalent of a full family of 4, like maybe 10 days. So you want to make it valuable to that extent too. To gauge the numbers off of is what I'm saying is.
Right.
You don't want to jump it up to $300 and all of a sudden, well, I'll just take a day
no.
pass and go whenever I want. I'm not going to go
Then
there
you're losing out on the
15,
other
20
one.
times a year.
Yeah,
So.
it's tricky, and that's why if we could look at these other increases, even closing a half an hour every night could potentially save up to $3,300 in staff wages. And increasing the swimming lessons and the swim team, we're kind of bringing in, or saving an additional savings of $8,000 to $9,000 right there, which is.
I would think
kind of-
swim teams should go up a little bit. Not that I want to pay more for it, but I mean,
Yeah.
it definitely is one of the lower end
Yeah.
of swim teams that are out there.
And swimming lessons it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Historically, before we've raised the rate, so that's.
Yeah, like the 10 punch pass should probably go up a little bit. Like, I don't know if you need an over 50% savings for 10 punches as opposed to a daily. Like a 25 to 30% savings over a daily pass versus a 10 punch pass, I think is more in line. And then, yeah, I'm still stuck on the non-residents. I just don't like there's a lot of facilities, there's a lot of services Columbus provides that the burden is on our taxpayers, that so many people in the surrounding communities take part of, that do not pay their fair share. So I would really like to see non-resident go up personally.
I would agree with that. Non-resident should go up, but you don't want to go up too high because
Yeah.
that's a lot of revenue. I mean, Columbus provides enough, but not nearly as much as,
And on our family memberships, we ran a report, and we do sell more non-resident family passes than we do resident passes. So that's kind of, I don't want to scare those away
Because
either.
the average elsewhere is $300 a year. So, of course we do.
And a non-resident is anybody who lives outside the city limits, right?
Correct.
Okay. And would you say you draw mostly on communities that are pretty close to Columbus?
Oh,
Say 15
Fall
minutes.
River, like
Yeah.
the
Sun
little
Prairie,
townships?
Fall River, Ryle,
Okay.
Beaver Dam, South Beaver Dam.
Waterloo, Watertown.
Yeah, we get quite a few.
Rio, yeah, Partyville, Johnson Creek,
Oh, okay.
a couple of those. So, yeah, so,
Yeah, I think of modest, like maybe the 15 is the right number, maybe 10 is the right number, I don't know.
on
That's
the memberships,
right, for the
Non-residents.
non-residents, I think is where we should, that's where I personally would like to concentrate on.
Okay.
Yeah, and the individual pass too. That's quite a bit cheaper.
yeah, so the family, the individual, and then, are you looking at couples as well, non-resident?
I don't know, I think that's probably, in my opinion, that looks pretty reasonable, but
Okay.
that's an opinion.
I think the couple was supposed to be like, could be one parent, one child, right?
Correct, we changed it to that.
Yep.
Yep.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that looks pretty reasonable.
What do you feel about the lap swim and water aerobics for non-residents?
So has that been increased at all?
That one has been the same for quite a while. You know, the one thing about that pass is it's a little limited with the hours that they can swim.
Right.
Because it's Saturday and Sunday for just an hour each day. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's 6 to 8 in the morning. And then Monday through Friday, it's 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock at night. So it's not a ton of hours available, and it's $3 a time to use it. That's why we've just been leaving it the same, because it's.
The nighttime.
Yeah, it's not available a ton for lap swim hours. And we did cut back on Tuesday and Thursday mornings from 6 to 8 because it wasn't being used a lot. So that's another reason why we kept it the same.
Okay. Any other thoughts? What would the council like to see moving forward? Go ahead. You want to
I
turn?
would like to see our rates go up a little bit. I think Ian is right, that 10 punch pass is significantly cheaper than, like a family pass or an individual pass, so, and I'm not saying that it needs to be a large dollar, but I think it should be a little bit better than what we have.
Any other thoughts? Go ahead, Alderson.
I still think the swim team and lessons should go up a little bit. You don't want to jump it too high, too fast, but, you know, over the course of the system, these things are going to be expensive regardless, and everything is still going up. So we got to keep up with that, otherwise it's going to, you know, we're going to fall behind, and we're going to have a whole lot of people just signing up for this because it's cheap, and we're not going to make a whole lot off of it.
So are you comfortable with our recommendation for resident to be 65 and non-resident to be 80 for the swim team?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That makes, yeah, I think that sounds better.
And swim lessons to go up 10 across the board. Talked about a triathlon doing that. And then potential to close at 8 PM.
We don't really talk about that.
And I think the 10 punch pass should go up too. Because, I mean, moving forward, it's going to be 5 for residents and 6 for non-residents. And that's, I mean, so they're getting 55% off to buy a 10 punch pass. That seems like a lot.
Yeah, it's like buy 9, get 1 free.
Yeah, with the 10 punch pass, they're only saving $5, though, because it's $60.
Oh, yep, I'm looking at that wrong. You're right. So that's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah. And that one, we just rose $10 last year. And, you know, the daily rates
Yeah, because
for
I
a
was
lot of the
still
other
looking
communities
at,
are about even. No.
I was looking at old prices versus new prices.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's really not that out of line. So probably non-resident passes, except for the couple. I think couple passes perfectly fine. the swim lessons, the swim team. Did I miss anything?
And you're proposing to close at 8 o'clock instead of 8:30? Do you get much business between 8 and 8:30 at night?
On a really hot day, yeah. One thing that was a really big challenge for me last year, though, is, the average age of our employees has gone down quite a bit. Obviously, in Wisconsin, 14 and 15-year-olds can't work past 9 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
So it was always a bit of a rush to try and get everybody out of there, and then sometimes you'll get customers that stay quite a while, and then it's up to like a lot of our older staff to kind of stay there quite a while longer, and sometimes we won't get out of there till like 9:30 when it's a little darker. And, it would help us out a lot if we could just maybe close a little bit earlier, that 8 o'clock marker, because once again, our staff is getting a lot younger. When I started, a lot of us were over 18, and now it's a lot of kids 15, 16. So that's one reason for that. And then obviously, just kind of the safety end of it, especially in August when it gets darker.
Yeah.
A lot of kids biking, park gets kind of dark. So.
And you have the flexibility, like if it's 100 degrees out, you could say, okay, we'll stay open till.
Yeah, I could piece it together.
That makes sense to me then.
Perfect. Is everyone okay with the recommendations moving forward? So move that to the next regular. Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys.
All right, thank you.
And then, let's see here. Oh, next up on the agenda is to convene to close session per 19.851C to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has the jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, pool and police department. I will take a motion for the reasons read.
Alder Rolke moves to convene to close session per 19.851C to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, pool and police department.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Alder Rolke and a second from Mayor Arnold. Pat, could you take a roll call for us, please?
Arnold?
Yes.
Gray?
Aye.
Reed? Aye. Rolke?
Aye.
Steiner?
Aye.
Albright?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. We are convening to close session. We will not be coming back on air tonight to make any further decisions. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.